Laker fans, how we doing? My name is Sammy Long. This is another Laker preview video. Doing one for every game this season. You know the drill. Getting everybody ready for the upcoming matchup and some things to look out for during the game. Cleveland coming to Los Angeles for this one. Should be a fun one. Cleveland with the #1 record in the Eastern Conference. We'll get into them a little bit later and some things to look out for there. We're going to talk about the trade, big trade that happened over the weekend. D'Angelo Russell, Maxwell Lewis, 3 second-round picks being shipped for Dorian Finney-Smith and Shake Milton. Going to get my thoughts on the trade and how I think that changes the rotation and the Lakers' outlook. But first, let's start with the Lakers sweeping the Kings. 4 games this season, 4 wins for the Lakers. Huge. A year ago, this was the other way around. The Kings swept the Lakers in 4 games. And the Lakers, they really had the Lakers number. So it was really nice to see her to be able to flip the script on the Kings. The Kings have been struggling. Obviously fired Mike Brown. A lot of smoke about De'Aaron Fox possibly getting moved. The Lakers are actually a name to watch in that. I don't really think Sacramento's going to be trading with the Lakers, but they did get named in a report. But looking at the game specifically, huge performance from Anthony Davis, 36 points. Rui, 21 points. Reeves, 26. Christie, 16. Connect, 18 off the bench. Huge. LeBron didn't even play, and the Lakers were able to steal a win. And I think the shooting behind the arc was really a big part of this game. Rui 4 for 5 from behind the arc, Reeves 3 for 4, Christie 3 for 5, and Connect 2 for 5. So you had guys hitting shots from all over. And again, I know the Kings aren't a good defensive team. That's been their Achilles heel. They'll score a ton of points, but they really don't play any defense besides Keon Ellis. That's kind of the only guy that's a true on-ball defender that they got in Sacramento. But still, huge win. And Lakers are making shots. And that's what we've seen. The Lakers are a really lethal team when the supporting cast is hitting shots. And the way Max Christie's been coming along and Dalton Connect kind of getting his stroke back a little bit. And Austin Reeves been having a huge couple weeks. And Rui was huge. He struggled early to start the year. But, I mean, if you're getting 21 points on 4 or 5 3-point shooting from Rui, I mean, that's just amazing. So the Lakers supporting cast really stepped up. And, again, no LeBron. So the Lakers were able to get LeBron a little rest, which we all know how crucial that is, and pick up a win in the process. So love what I saw there. Lakers moved up to 5th in the standings. They're now down to 7th because of some things that happened in the last day or so. But the West is so clumped. The West is all right there. You can move up or down. The Lakers have been winning a lot of games, playing good basketball. And it's just been really fluid, the whole West. The Lakers were at the top early in the year. Then it looked like they were kind of bottoming out and then got it back together. The Warriors were at the top for a while. They have kind of taken a tank. Same with the Phoenix Suns. It's just been a lot of flux. Denver's kind of been iffy so far. So the Lakers do got a chance to move up in the standings, and that it'll start with them playing Cleveland here on New Year's Eve and closing out the year, closing out 2024 with a big win. But we'll get to them in a minute. 2 new pieces for the Lake Show. So this is the big news that came over the weekend. D'Angelo Russell is not a Laker anymore. He, for the last few years, every trade, it was D'Lo, the expiring contract. He was making $18.7 million. So all these teams, very valuable because he's just an expiring contract. You're going to free up a bunch of money. So even though people didn't necessarily want D'Angelo Russell, they wanted the contract that he had. He even admitted in the offseason it was his contract was made to be a tradable contract. That's basically why they did it. Had they not had the expiring deal or that kind of money, I doubt Rob Pelinka would have brought him back, but he did. And so the Lakers flipped. I like the trade a lot. Now listen, I've been a D'Lo supporter for a long time. I'm probably a lot higher on D'Angelo Russell than a lot of other people. He definitely had a tumultuous career with the Lakers, drafted, bounced around, and then ended up coming back. D'Angelo Russell was frustrating at times because you saw the talent there. You saw the games were against the Celtics a year ago with him and Reeves, and him against Milwaukee in that Friday night game a year ago, where he just looks like an absolute superstar. And then some games you just couldn't find him, and he couldn't hit anything. And his offensive production and minutes have dipped a little bit this year, and that just kind of went into, if D'Lo's not scoring, we all know. I mean, the defense is not there with him, so he has to be scoring, and he's come up short in the playoffs. We've seen this against Denver a year ago in the last year's playoffs. He had a bad game 1, good game 2, bad game 3. It was just kind of going vice versa. So he's finally off the Lakers. Maxwell Lewis, young player, 22 years old, didn't really play that much. He's off the Lakers. Shake Milton, Dorian Finney-Smith. So Dorian Finney-Smith, 31 years old. He's kind of the prized possession here. I'll get into Shake Milton in a minute. I really like Shake Milton, actually. I think that's much more than a throw-in piece. But the Lakers got some big wing depth and flexibility below the second apron. Second apron for the salary cap and everything. So the Lakers actually saved a little bit of money and got a guy who in his career has shot 36% from three. This year is shooting 43.5%. So an excellent clip. Over his career, 6.7 attempts per 36 minutes. That's been a really good number. Just in comparison, Max Christie, 36% from three on 4.1 attempts. And Gabe Vincent's been a career 33% shooter. So he definitely improves you in the three-point shooting arc. He per attempts, he shoots very well. Again, shooting that 43.5% this year alone. That's probably unreasonable to expect to keep up. But if he's high 30s, low 40s, that's a big deal. And he's a great defender. He's one of the weird stats that I saw. Dorian Finney-Smith is the only player in the NBA this season to defend players listed as guards, forwards, and centers, each for at least 15 half-court matchups per game. So this guy can defend anyone. He's super versatile on the floor, can kind of put him on anyone. And, I mean, I'm going to get into an update on Jared Vanderbilt in a minute, but there's some positive signs there. And this team's defense could go from being a horrible defensive team, we could have said a month ago, to being a really good defensive team here pretty fast, getting him and some other pieces. So he's going to be a shooter. He has a $15.4 million player option for 2025, 2026. So very, very excited for that. I think it's a great ad. He's going to come off the bench. JJ Redick said today at his presser, he said, yeah, I already talked to Dorian Finney-Smith about him not starting, keeping the same starting lineup. We're in a good spot with our starting group right now. So he'll play and he'll come off the bench. And like I've told you guys several times, I want consistency with that group, but I'm not going to be stubborn and locked into something if it's not working. So that's nice. Again, even if he's come off the bench, he's going to play a lot of minutes, and you get another 3-point specialist off the bench that can take some pressure off, when Gabe Vincent's back, if he's back for this game. And some other guys, just adding another piece there. Shake Milton, I really like this. I think this is personally a lot more than just a throw-in piece. He played in Philly for a few years, then kind of bounced around some trades last year, 2023, 2024. Played with the Timberwolves for like 38 games, and the Pistons for 4, the Knicks for 6. Wound up in Brooklyn this year with 27 games, and now is a Laker. He's going to be the backup point guard, and I think this is really timing with the Gabe Vincent injury. Even if he comes back for this game, that's an injury that can linger a little bit. And Cam Reddish obviously had the spasms in the last game. I think Shake Milton's going to get to play a lot this season alone. 18 minutes per game, 7.4 points per game, about 2 rebounds per game, and about two assists per game. So I think he's a nice piece. He had some nice games. Watching him in Philly over the years, I thought he was actually underutilized there. But I think the Lakers have a serious need for him. And listen, if he doesn't work out, there's very little money tied to him. So this is not like a big commit to the salary cap. But I think he could be a big presence off the bench and just add some guard depth, add a true point guard who can kind of run the offense a little bit. So I'm excited about Shake Milton. I think he's going to play a lot. And see if he'll get it going, how fast he'll get up to speed, him and Finney-Smith. Some positive news on the Jared Vanderbilt front. So this is per Dan Weinke of the LA Times. He said Vanderbilt appears to be a little further along than Wood, as Redick said that he was able to get in some non-contact work during practice. JJ Redick said Jared Vanderbilt was able to get on the court for some non-contact stuff, as I just said. And Dan Weinke said, while it's great to see Vanderbilt trending in the right direction, he still has some steps to take before being able to return. So it's not imminent. It's not imminent him returning, but still getting some non-contact drills, getting to practice, it's a big deal. Because, personally, I was getting worried that he wasn't going to come back at all. You're going to have a situation where they just kept pushing it. And it kind of felt like, well, when it was supposed to be ready for the start of the year, and then it was a couple weeks in, and then it was December, and then it was January, and it just felt like it was like this injury clearly isn't getting better. But good news there. So, I mean, looking at in the rotations in the future, you have Dorian Finney-Smith, a great defender, Jared Vanderbilt, great defender. Max Christie, I think, has really been developing recently. He's becoming a scorer and just has really been tasked with some of the best ball handlers and scorers on the other team. I thought he's acquitted himself pretty nicely over the last few weeks in that starting lineup. And then Cam Reddish. I mean, you got 4 on-ball defenders who you can deploy on guys at times now That's a big deal, and the Lakers just didn't have before. And you kind of have a lot of tools at the disposal, so you can kind of shut teams down. And whereas in the last few years with the Lakers, it felt like if Vanderbilt wasn't out there or Reddish, there was just not really on-ball defenders at the guard spots, especially with D'Lo, to really shut teams down. So I think these are huge ads. Christian Wood also to some practice there. Hopefully his return is coming soon too. So the Lakers getting reinforcements with trade, getting reinforcements with this. And again, you only give up second round picks and D'Lo and Maxwell Lewis. You didn't have to give up first round picks. I think it was a really nice job by Rob Pelinka, and a deal that helps this year as well as the future, and not kind of mortgaging that just for a third star. Looking at Cleveland preview. This team's been great this year. 28-4, top of the Eastern Conference, excuse me. They're on a 7-game win streak. They actually, the last game, the night before, they beat the Warriors 113-95. So they've really been blowing teams out. I mean, a lot of these scores have not even been close. They hung 149 2 games ago. So with the highest scoring, I believe it was the highest scoring by a team in the NBA this year. So they can score, hit you in bunches. The Lakers played them already this year. They lost 134-110 in Cleveland. They played them in the 6th game of the year. LeBron had 26, AD had 22, and Connect had 18. Everyone else really didn't do anything. Those were the only 3 guys that really contributed in that game. Pretty ugly game. Cleveland jumped all over the Lakers and just kind of got after them. But I'm expecting a good one for this game upcoming right here. As far as the injury report goes, the only person out for the Cavs is Isaac Okoro. He's out due to a sprained AC joint. The Lakers, Shake Milton and Dorian Finney-Smith are both questionable, so we'll see if they're going to be playing. It looks like they might have been upgraded recently. JJ Redick, the way he's been talking, I think they will play, but that was kind of questionable in the game time decision. Or just how much are they actually going to play, even if they are active? We'll see, because they probably don't know any of the sets or anything yet. But you can definitely get him out there for a few minutes. Jackson Hayes is questionable. Gabe Vincent's questionable. And LeBron and Anthony Davis, as they have been the last week, are questionable as well. But I am expecting them to play, especially LeBron coming off that rest on Saturday against the Kings. So I'm sure he'll play. The Lakers are going to need everyone. This is a really good team, as I mentioned. Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland, one of the best backcourts in the entire NBA, have been excellent. Dean Wade, and they got a lot of sides too. Dean Wade, Evan Mobley, former USC Trojan, Jarrett Allen. They kind of round out the front court there. So really complete starting 5. The 5 guys that really play on the bench, they've been blowing teams out by so much that their whole bench has been getting in. But the guys that really play will play meaningful minutes, around 20 minutes a game. George Niang out of Iowa State, he's a 3-point specialist. The Lakers got to make sure they get on him. Karis LeVert, another 3-point specialist, used to play in Brooklyn. Good player. Ty Jerome, Max Strus, and Sam Merrill. All these guys can hit threes. Had been for Max Strus, used to play for Miami, and Sam Merrill out of Utah State. So this is going to be a good game. I think the Lakers are going to give them a run for their money. I really do. The line in Vegas, for all you gambling addicts out there, it's open at -2.5 after the performance against the Warriors. It moved up to 3.5 in favor of Cleveland, which I guess they've earned because of their record, but I think the Lakers definitely a live dog in this game. And the total is set at 227.5. So this is going to be a fun one. Again, Cleveland 7-game win streak. Would love for the Lakers to close out 2024 on this huge kind of resurrecting the season. It feels like the last few weeks after that Miami Heat game and the Timberwolves game. It just felt like the season was kind of going down the drain, but the Lakers have really turned it around. Love what I'm seeing, and hopefully the Lakers can ring in the new year with a victory. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. Alan will get you guys on the post-game show as long as he's not out partying for New Year's Eve. But I think Alan's gonna hold you guys down, and on his show in the morning, of course. So thank you guys, appreciate it, and go Lakers.